There's just some stories you know are going to cause an uproar the second you see them. When I was in my email and I got the press release from Nintendo about the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild expansion pass, I was like, uh oh, it's going to be a bad day. I knew the discussion was going to get very heated very quickly, and it was going to continue on until the game launched and probably thereafter. And so far, it seems like that's the case. People are very angry about this expansion pass. Not all of them, obviously, but there's certainly a healthy amount. So I thought I'd look into where this anger is coming from and see if any of it's warranted. So just a quick summary of what goes into this expansion pass. It costs $20. On March 3rd, you'll be able to get 3 new treasure chests. One of them is going to have an exclusive shirt that says Switch on it that Link can wear, and the other 2 treasure chests will contain useful items. Then in summer 2017, you'll have DLC Pack 1, which has the Cave of Trials challenge, new hard mode, and an additional map feature. Then holiday 2017, there's DLC Pack 2. That includes a new original story, new dungeon, and additional challenges. Again, you get all of this for $20, but the only content you'll have access to on March 3rd, launch day, is the expansion pass bonus, which is the 3 new treasure chests. So DLC in and of itself isn't a bad thing. Extending the life of a game months after it comes out is pretty great. Getting new content, be it free or paid, is not anything new for the game industry. It's been going on for a while, and Nintendo's been doing it themselves for a while now too. And they certainly experiment with different types, free, paid, a mix of both. But this content for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is certainly more in line with what you would see on other consoles traditionally when it comes to DLC. So I'll start off with what I think is the most bitter pill to swallow for most people, and that's the fact that some of the content in this expansion pass is content you would have already gotten in previous Zelda games at cost of what the game was on the store shelves, so you wouldn't have to pay extra for it. So stuff like the Cave of Trials, and we'll also lump in new hard mode in there because we don't know the details of new hard mode, but most people are expecting it to be like a master quest or something like that. So the big issue is when you train people for years and years and years to expect content included in a game at cost of what the game is on store shelves, then you take that content out and you make people pay more for it, there's a bit of anger there. And I can certainly understand that because, we've had 30 years of Zelda games, and we haven't been paying for DLC. And now we have something that certainly the Cave of Trials, that's content that we found in other Zelda games that we got just for the price of the game off the store shelf, and now we're going to have to pay $20 for it. So I can understand that anger, and again, I can't fault Nintendo for going down this path, and I can't fault fans for being upset with it. It's just a shift in mentality. Obviously, it's not one that anybody is going to be excited about. Nobody's going to be like, yeah, I can't wait to pay more for this content I've gotten in previous games at no additional cost, but this is the way the industry is going right now. So, like I said, as far as the anger there, I can certainly see where some people are coming from. One of the other issues that people have comes from not really knowing specifically what's in all this DLC. Some of it is self-explanatory and other parts of it are mysterious. And if you're going to fork out $20, you kind of want to know what you're paying for. So yes, there's a bit of patience that could come into play for Zelda fans. You don't have to buy this day and date with the game. You can wait until, the first DLC pack, the second DLC pack, or I'm sure, many, many months after that. So you could wait and see what is actually in all these packs as far as minute details, and perhaps you can even watch people play this stuff on YouTube or some other way and read an article and find out what it actually entails. So the more nondescript elements of this DLC pack can get explained, and then you can feel better about your purchase. But as of right now, there's things that make people question if they want to spend the $20, like useful items. As I said in a video feature the other day, what's a useful item? How do I know that's going to be worth my $20? I don't even get to see what the item is, which is kind of strange. Then there's the additional map feature. How big is this map feature going to be? What's it going to do? I don't know what to think of it. When I'm paying money, I like to know what I'm actually paying for, or have at least some good idea. And I feel like those things are too vague. And then you continue on to the next DLC pack, and it says additional challenges. Like that's another element where you're left confused and you don't really know what to expect from it. Cave of Trials, self-explanatory. A hard mode would seem to be self-explanatory. Then you get original story and new dungeon. We understand what those mean, so those are enticing. And certainly there's some aspects of those we'd like to know more about, but we get the gist of it. But this other content, it all factors into the $20 price tag, and you're like, I don't know. I need to know a little bit more about this before I feel safe spending my money. Then we have another area that could very well be the biggest sticking point that some people have. You're paying $20 and you get all this content, but you have to pay $20 to get any of the content. So you can't pick and choose what you want. It's not like you could say, I'll take the original story and the new dungeon and throw the Cave of Trials in there and I'll pay for whatever that's worth. You don't get to do that. You have to pay $20 and you get all the content. So paying 20, if you're okay paying $20 for original story, new dungeon, and Cave of Trials, then you're getting all this extra stuff in there as well. Then cool for you. Like, you're happy about that. If you don't mind paying $20 for 3 select things and you get all the extra content in there as well, then that's a good thing. But there are people who are completely not interested in any of that other stuff. Like, I've seen people that say, I just want the new story and the new dungeon. And they have to pay $20 whether they want to or not. Or if they want to get the content, they're going to have to pay $20 whether they want to or not. There's no way for them to get that cheaper. Maybe somebody just wants the treasure chests and they got to pay $20 to get that stuff. Or, maybe some people just want the hard mode and they got to pay $20 for that stuff. So, depending on where your value level is for the content that you want, you could feel the $20 is justified, or you could feel that you're getting a little bit ripped off because there's other content in there you're simply not interested in. And people make the argument saying, like, you're paying $20 and you're getting what you want, plus you're getting other content in there. I understand that argument, but you also have to factor in that there are people who won't want to play or experience part of this content. So they don't want to have to pay $20 to get stuff they are never going to touch. Then there's also the valid complaint of people getting the collector's edition or the limited edition, whatever they're called. And they're paying a lot more money to get the items that are in those special editions of the game. Physical items, real life items. And they aren't getting this DLC, so they have to pay again another $20 to get that content. And usually when you have a collector's edition or something like that, more often than not you see that extra DLC content factored in with the price. But that's not the case here. So people that are spending, a much greater amount of money on these collector's editions are like, wow, I'm spending all this extra money and I don't even get the DLC. That seems like kind of a bummer. And again, I can completely understand that. It's not like games are cheap to begin with. You're paying $60 just to get the game itself, and you're paying another, what, $30? I don't know what it is, $40 to get the collector's edition or something like that. And then you're shelling out another $20 if you want the extra content. So that's a big price to pay for just a single game. And no matter, whether the game is huge or not and how fantastic the game ends up being. But that's a lot to invest into one game. And those people shelling out the extra money right at the beginning to get the special editions of the game are feeling a little miffed. Then finally, I think the lowest gripe on the totem pole comes in from people saying, like, I've been so hyped up for this game. I've been so excited for this game. And now we're just 2 weeks away from launch, and Nintendo's like, oh, by the way, $20 more if you want to get this extra content. And for longtime Zelda fans, you look at stuff like a new dungeon and a new original story and stuff like that, and you're like, oh man, I really want to experience that. But you're not like excited to pay another $20. So people are like, man, we've got so many years being excited about this game, and now this little like jab in the side right towards the final stretch just makes it a little bit upsetting for those fans. And new content isn't a bad thing, but I can certainly understand people being a little disheartened to know that there's going to be extra content in this game that isn't going to be free. It's not like this is something we're used to for Zelda games. So, I can understand it being a bummer in that sense. But like I said, as far as gripes go, I consider that one to be on the very low end of things. So I've been all over the internet keeping track of what people are saying. And, you have people that are like, oh, I'm upset, but it is what it is. This is the industry that we're in nowadays. And other people that are like, I canceled my pre-order. I'm not buying this game. They're not going to get any extra money from me. They killed my hype. It's not for me to say that that's the right or wrong approach. For me personally, I would say that's a little bit of overkill. I can tell you that from my perspective, there's content in there in that DLC that I'll find worthy of paying $20 for. And you know, it comes the first pack doesn't come out until summer, so you have until summer to put away $20, which I think in most cases shouldn't be too big of a deal. So I'm okay with it. You know, like I said earlier, I'm not excited to pay more money. I'm not excited that we're going to have to pay for content we would have traditionally gotten at the cost of the game at launch. But this is the way things go nowadays, and you know, there's going to be a certain group of people that want to fight against that and say it's not right and say it's unfair. And you know, I just because this is the way the industry is going right now doesn't mean that it's the correct path. And I can't blame those people for being upset. You know, I can look at their arguments and look at their rage about it, and at least see partially where they're coming from. Now, how far they take it, you know, that's where I differ with those people. But you know, it's people's money, so they have expected to pay a certain amount of money for this game, and now they see content that's going to have them pay more, and it's a fight between whether they want to spend that money, if they feel they should have to spend that money, if they feel it's a fair price to begin with, all kinds of stuff. So price with games is always a touchy subject. There's no right or wrong answer. It's very clear that Nintendo's going in a more traditional path with this game when it comes to DLC, but that's a very big change for Zelda and Zelda fans. So there's going to be a long period here where people have to adjust their expectations and get used to that, because it seems like this could be the way the series is going to go from here on out. And it's great to get new content. That's something pretty much new for Zelda games. We haven't had a mainline Zelda game where you get a new original story and new dungeon stuff after the game comes out. So that's very exciting. Just you're going to have to pay for that content. So you're going to have to sit and stew on it, which is what people have been doing, and see where you're at and see if you feel this content is going to be worth the money. So where do you guys sit on this? Are you absolutely shocked and dismayed to see that Nintendo is taking this route with Breath of the Wild? Are you not that surprised and you figured Nintendo was going to head down this path at some point? Where are you at on all this? How are you feeling? I would love to know. Hit us up in the comments and let us know your thoughts. I'll be sure to jump in there and discuss some things with you guys, and we'll see what everybody's feeling. Hey guys, RMC here from Go Nintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at Twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at Instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot.